teenagers no more. Don't take it for granted. Always be grateful to God for that. Always be grateful to God. I don't want to get into preaching this morning. We have a conversation coming up, and we declared the month of July as our teen project. We're having conversations about teenagers. We learned last week that right now, even from age 9, some people hit puberty, right? So at that age, you start seeing the features developing, you start seeing them behaving not more like kids anymore. They want their space, they want to be, they're acting mature and all that. And then they start asking you a lot of questions, they start wanting to be by themselves, and then you get to realize that, okay, my baby is gradually transitioning. And so puberty, teenage, that's what we are talking about. I have always said that if your child, if there will be any mess up, it will be within those ages. So I personally, I am very, 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 very passionate about that age. And now everybody in my home is within that bracket. So you know where the passion and the concern is coming from, right? If you have a teenager, you might also want to wake them up this morning and let them sit by the radio, because the conversation is about them, it's about you, it's about us here. And so wake them up, let them listen to the conversation. They should send their questions in to 05511119997. We will try and activate the phone lines on 0302216541. So you can put that on speed dial and let's have this conversation. This morning, we're looking at the teenager and privacy. The teenager and privacy. And you know what I am talking about. If you have one in your home, you know what I am talking about. Before we get into that conversation, yesterday we spoke to a number of them, spoke to quite a number of teenagers, and all of them are from DPS International. PK, I'll introduce him to you in a bit. And oh God, I listened to the things they had to say, and I am like, we are in trouble. If you're a parent and you are not a smart parent, and this is your child, you have issues coming up. So we'll listen to them and then we will get into the conversation.
My name is AC Nyankwaoye Onome Peters. I'm 17 years old. To me, privacy means being able to exist in my own space without feeling observed against my will, and being able to decide which part of my life I would like to share.
Before the 2014 World Cup, he feigned injury in almost all our qualifications.
Morning. Pa Kojo Afful. I have to start learning how to add the Emmanuel to your name. Brahima. Good morning.
Good morning, Edem.
You're welcome. Good to see you.
Good to see you as always.
But
dashing.
Can I say
You
this?
know.
You don't look anything your age or PK.
That's what the students say.
But it's true.
I think it's good.
You and this woman.
It's good.
Wow.
Yeah, it's good.
We'll take the secrets after you. We'll have a show on that. Ariel, the wellness coach, good to have you.
Same here.
How
Happy to
long
be
has it
home.
been?
It's been like 2-3 months.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
I missed you. Yeah, that's how fast the days can run, eh?
I see. Wow. Good to have you back.
Same here. Happy to be home.
How have you been?
Great. I've been great.
Okay, great. So I really wanted us to listen to what the teenagers had to say so that we set, the platform for the conversation. But we're trying to sort those sounds out. Once we're done, we'll bring them up. But let me remind our listeners quickly that Home Affairs is brought to us by Amasha Partners Limited and iCare. And we have a new family member on board. Drum roll. Cerelac. It's all good, Mom. I love Cerelac personally. Don't tell anybody. I love the millet. I love how it makes me feel. And Kel Charcoal toothpaste for white teeth and fresh breath all day long. This is another quality product from Samara Company Limited. Kel Charcoal toothpaste, happy smile, and Music Haven, your musical coach. Thank you all for banking on Home Affairs. I will be telling you in detail what our sponsors are offering us on the show. But let's get into it. Olivia, 19.
20. She's
Oh,
20. She turned 20 in May.
Okay,
So-
we just crossed the
Crossed
bank.
it,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then the boys?
16.
Okay, so you are like, a
Better
teen.
placed.
I tell you,
You are best placed.
I tell you, like, this is going to be another masterclass. And what I love about this is the fact that we're not going to be talking theories. These are very practical things. I mean, she is a mother who's gone through it, 11 just crossed to 20. Okay, and then we have one at the heart of the teenage, 16. And then PK, that is his job, right? His life, ever since I have known him, has been with teenagers, has been with young people, dealing with them, teaching them, being their friend, being a daddy to them, and all that. So he has a world of experience when it comes to these young people. Let me start with you, Olivia. What do you think privacy, I mean, this is from your experience raising your children, privacy means to you?
Privacy means let me do what I want to do. That's what privacy starts for them. I want to do this. Let me be able to do it. Don't tell me I can't do this or I should always do it your way. One, privacy means if I want to go somewhere, I want you to trust that I can go. Privacy means don't go into my room and just open my things and all that. Privacy to them means, I have friends. If I'm talking to my friend, you can't know everything I'm saying to my friend. Privacy means I'll say I'm going somewhere and you have to ask, where is the where? I am going to do something, and what is the something, So sometimes the conversation, the privacy starts, you get to know they are asking for privacy in the way they communicate with you. Because they start saying things and they don't complete the sentence. They say, I want to go somewhere. Well, where is somewhere? So that's when you start knowing that they are asking for privacy. And privacy sometimes also means I have a right to my body. And so they start hiding themselves from you, even though you are their mother. You think, I can barge into your room and all that. But it gets to a point, even privacy for their bodies, they start asking for privacy for their body. And sometimes privacy also means you don't have to know everything I'm thinking. And I used to ask my kids, are you okay? I like asking my kids that, are you okay? Because I want them to share with me what they are thinking about. And I'll be like, you can't say you're not thinking anything. The mind is always thinking something. What are you thinking about? Are you okay? Are you all right? So privacy for them means I can start choosing. I can start deciding. I can start stepping out of the house on my own. I can have friends. I can talk to my friends that you don't know. For some of them, sometimes you want to know all their friends, and I know all my friends' friends. I take all the numbers. I save the numbers of all my friends, my kids' friends, and I like to know who you are with, where you are, what you're doing. But it gets to a point that privacy for them means trust that if I say I'm here, I'm there. Don't try to call my friend and ask, is she there?
Wow.
So it means you don't trust me. So privacy also starts with trust. And trust starts with how you've bonded with your children from the beginning. And one thing that helped me with giving my kids privacy was some of the things they would want to do. I had done it with them. And so I trust if I allow them to go through that process, I know what they are going to do. So privacy comes out differently depending on the kind of parenting you also have with your children. And PG and myself have mentioned the different types of parenting here. If it's authoritarian or authoritative or permissive and all that, depends on how they show up when they want privacy. And it can be very different for each individual.
I want to ask you, are these things subtle? Are they openly discussed? Or they just expect that this is what it is when we say that we want to have our privacy?
It's subtle. They don't tell you, I want privacy. But you will tell in the way they act. You will tell in the way they do their things, in the way they communicate with you, that they don't want you knowing everything about them. They just think, don't ask everything. Simply don't ask everything. And it's scary for a parent. For me, I feel like I need to know everything. So sometimes...
Now?
Yes, now. But that is where you have to start knowing where trust comes in, and the kind of relationship you've also built with them from the beginning to when they get into their teens. And for me, me and my daughter, it's more like sister and now. So she tells me everything because that was the kind of friendship I had with her. But the boy, sometimes you have to probe a little more to get information coming out. And so it doesn't work the same with girls when you want to have, supervision on their privacy and what they are doing, and it doesn't work the same for boys as well. So as a parent, you also start to learn these things about teenagers, and then you are well informed on how to go up, or you always be stressed. And one thing,
So for you as a mother, when all of these things start coming up, you notice that, okay, they're not too happy when you barge into their rooms without knocking. They're not too happy if you seem to be prying a bit too much. They're not too happy when they feel like your eyes are just everywhere to a fault, you know.
Yeah.
How does that make you feel, and how do you manage your own fears?
It's scary. It's scary when you realize that it's time for me to start letting go of that control, that everything you do, I have to make that final decision. It's scary. It's scary for every parent. And you know, even right now, my parents worry about me, and as a parent, you worry about your children till. So it's scary when you get there and you realize they want to have some independence. They want to have some accountability and responsibility. And if you don't allow to, you affect their development, you affect their individualism, and it also becomes with certain consequences when they actually become adults. You have to control your fears by knowing that you are guiding them. You become a guidance for them. And also important, how you have built friendship with them from the beginning. That is so crucial. That friendship is so crucial that you know that they will come to you when it matters. That is one of the things that console me. That I know my girl will come to me when it matters. I know. So as much as sometimes I get scared, I get worried, the friendship consoles me that she'll come. And anytime she's out, that communication we have and bond we have is always there.
Great.
And that consoles me. So the friendship from the beginning and the trust you give them will give what will console you to alleviate your fears a bit when you have to start shifting and giving them that space to develop the skills they need to become full adults. It's not easy.
So what you're saying is that whether we like it or not, they will require their privacy, and we will also have to get it into our heads that we will have to let go at some point.
You have to let go. Yes, you have to let go.
Okay. And one of the things that will help you to be able to control your fears and let go is the friendship you build with them right from
the beginning.
Great. Let's take a listen to the voices, and then PK will come to you.
My name is Esi Nyankwaoye Onome Peters. I'm 17 years old. To me, privacy means being able to exist in my own space without feeling observed against my will, and being able to decide which parts of my life I would like to share with other people. I have passwords on all of my devices simply for security, and this means the passwords are only on the first page to unlock the device. I don't have passwords on individual apps. I tell my parents almost everything. The little parts that I don't tell them are mostly because I've done something immature, or I know that I did something they'll think wrong, or they wouldn't understand. Maybe because
Okay,
they're
we'll have
old-fashioned.
that sorted out because there's still something interfering.
Together,
with our
both
sound, so
my
we'll
parents
that
have
sorted out and then
almost
come
all
back.
the
PK,
knowledge.
I'm telling you that if the Black Stars had qualified for the World Cup in 2018, Inaki Williams was going to make himself available.
No, that's speculative. That's speculative. You are being speculative.
Yes, but we qualified for the World Cup, and he has made himself available. That's my point.
No.
So I'm saying that, I mean, Keto Kyoku
But
is lucky the Black Stars qualified for the World Cup.
From what he showed now,
Yes,
he can do
I'm
sure.
And I'm saying that Keto Kyoku is lucky the Black Stars qualified for the World Cup.
Exactly.
So that's my point.
The line, there will be no problem with that. If he wants to join us because of the World Cup, there will be no problem with that.
For who they are. They will let you know that there is a huge distinction between privacy or privacy and secrecy. They think we confuse the two. And I think that it's important that we established that fact now.
Okay.
Now, secrecy is, if you like, willfully or willfully hiding something. You know, there's some deliberateness to it.
Yeah.
While privacy simply means that it is not every aspect of my life that I would want you to know. That's that simple. and
can't take it.
and you know, the reason I'm excited about this is that in IGCSE first language, there's a topic called diary entries. And I started, when I started introducing this subject, it was interesting, the kind of perspective I got. Because I started a lesson with the fact that, look, I read someone's diary, and it almost skinned me alive. And so I got into their minds, and I allowed them to talk. And that's why I realized that, look, they are not saying that you cannot have your control as a parent or as a guardian. They want you to be in the fringes of their lives. Let them know. They want you to know that they are capable of living their life to the best of their abilities, depend on how you have trained them. And that is why I loved it when Ariel said that, look, build that friendship
with them.
You know, so I just want us to put these two words into context and understand that the student or the adolescent are not saying don't play your role as a parent. They know you are a guide, but you cannot know everything about them. And I think that what will actually educate our listeners better will be when you hear them speak. I really enjoyed what I heard. And for me, it told me that, look, we have a future. It means that parenting will get better. Because these are regular students who understand the intricacies of the world and the kind of things that are going on, and they're able to make judgment based on how life is. Again, let's not forget that it is almost impossible for you to let people know everything. I mean, it's not good. It is not healthy. Every human being needs a social, if you like, place to develop fully. We need our friends. We need our family. But that is also very dangerous because there should be a balance. You also need that independence as well. Now, when adolescents start asking for privacy, it is where they start beginning to learn how to be independent. That's as simple as that. So, yes, we are parents. Yes, we are teachers. Yes, we are guardians. We should remember that we cannot have a full control over their lives. Why? 16, 2 years, they are 18. They're in the university. Will you be there with them?
No.
And so they're actually telling us that, look, we will be fine. Be on the fringes. Watch us. When we make mistakes, correct us. But don't pry. Don't invade. And this is why probably, and I'm sure people may misconstrue or misunderstand what I'm saying. In some families, dad has his bedroom. Mom has his bedroom. The children have their bedroom. There are reasons why these things are important. Because there's what we call quiet time. There are times you want to be alone. You want to think about yourself. Schoolwork, social life, everything.
One of them said it.
You don't need to be in that space. They will tell you when they have to tell you. And I think that it all starts with a kind of training you give the children. I have my students see me as a friend first, before a teacher, then a father. Because of this, they come to me. Look, there are so many things I can't say on radio, you know, but there are so many things I know about my students that there are so many things I know about my students that even their parents don't know. And I always tell them that, look, this is where we are going.
But that is what friendship does.
That is what it is.
That is what friendship does. I think that that's what I believe, that the height of every human relationship is friendship. For me. Okay, Daniela tells me we've sorted the voices out, and I really want us to hear them.
Nyankwaoye Onome Peters. I'm 17 years old. To me, privacy means being able to exist in my own space
Daniela, can you push the
without
fader
feeling
up for us?
observed against my will, and being able to decide which part of my life I would like to share with other people. I have passwords on all of my devices, simply for security, and this means the passwords are only on the first page to unlock the device. I don't have passwords on individual apps. I tell my parents almost everything. The little parts that I don't tell them are mostly because I've done something immature, or I know that I did something they'll think wrong, or they wouldn't understand, maybe because they're old fashioned. Together, both my parents have almost all the knowledge about what goes on in my life, but I tell them each different parts of the story simply because they're both sensitive to different things. My mom is more understanding when I talk about conflicts with my girlfriends, but I can't talk to her about boys and feelings. She's not having it. My father, on the other hand, would not know what to say when I tell him about conflicts with my girlfriends, but he's more understanding when I talk about boys. My parents gave me a lot of privacy already since I was very little. So I've never been put in a position where I had to ask for privacy. However, there's always some things they do where I can't tell if they are doing it intentionally or if they simply don't know that it's a privacy breach. For example, if I show my mom a funny picture in my gallery, she'll look at this picture and then continue to scroll, looking at all the other pictures in my gallery and asking me things about them. And it makes me so uncomfortable. And it's not, if I ask her to stop, it would seem like I'm hiding something. But usually I'm not even hiding anything. I don't know what she's going to find. And also, sometimes you might see something and then suddenly judge me or give me a lecture about why I'm not supposed to be spending time on things like this and it's not productive. Also, thinking about it, there are some unspoken rules in the house that limit the amount of privacy that I have, because nobody has ever asked me to not lock my door, but somehow I know that I'm not supposed to lock my door. I can close it, that's a different thing, but I can't lock it. And when I go out with my friends, I can't simply tell them that I'm going out. They have to know who I'm going with, where. All these things are unspoken. I just know it's right. But these are all things that don't trouble me much, and I don't plan to address them. I feel like, looking at the bigger picture, my parents give me enough personal space, and I appreciate that.
Hi, my name is Fred Nemo, and I am currently 15 years old. Personally, privacy is the act of being alone without the interference of others. And I feel like it's an essential part of my life. It is so important because it serves as a safe haven for me to think, unearth new creativity, and practically to explore myself. Usually, I yearn for privacy in challenging situations as I need to be alone in order to think clearly. I always maintain passwords on my gadgets. This is usually due to the fact that some things are supposed to be left unknown, even though they have no malicious intent. In my opinion, as a young teenager, passwords are extremely integral as it allows you to maintain privacy whilst you discover new interests, hobbies, and most importantly, learning about your new self. Usually, I prefer a mix of letting my parents in on my life. Sometimes keeping your parents at a distance from things going in your life is extremely helpful. This is due to the wide age gap and the change in generations. Parents might misunderstand what is going on in your life and perceive it as being ungrateful. But in intense situations, it's never a question to inform my parents. Mostly, my parents understand the need for privacy. However, sometimes I see those boundaries being crossed and I try to reinforce them as soon as possible. But usually I just brush it off and understand that I have Ghanaian parents. Thank you so much.
Hello, my name is Gabrielle Narte, and I am 16 years old. I usually demand privacy because some things are necessary to keep private, or there are certain things you need to tell only a close circle of people or to deal with on your own. I do have passwords on some of my gadgets, but not all of my gadgets, because it's not even about privacy in this case when I have a password on my gadget, more like security, even though they're quite synonymous. Because if someone can easily open your phone, it feels, even if you don't have anything bad on your phone, it feels uncomfortable to have someone have everything you do, just something. You don't want people to have easy access to all your information, because it's private information. Anyone sitting down could just open your phone and then, I don't know, read your text messages to your parents and stuff like that. So I don't think it would be advisable to not have a password on that such a personal device. And no, I don't think it's possible to let my parents in on everything in my life, because yeah, most of the important things, yeah, but like certain things you go through with, let's say your family, let's say your siblings or your friends, you cannot tell your parents about every single adventure. Also, they don't exactly know how to relate to every single thing you do, or sometimes they might have trouble understanding the things you do, or sometimes they might not really be able to understand your problems and stuff like that. So you can't let your parents in on everything in your life, because there's a bit of a disconnect there, and there's certain things you do with your parents and certain things you discuss with your friends and stuff like that. So there's a disconnect, and it's not necessarily a bad thing, and you don't always have to bridge that disconnect, but you could find solace in other things, and then there are necessary things that you have to tell your parents. So yeah. And do I think my parents understand many of it? Yes and no, because I did grow up having not that I didn't have privacy. I did have privacy. I do have privacy still, but then things like locking my door I can't do. But then I understand that you want to be able to like open your children's door, but they knock before they enter. And no, because sometimes, let's say you have a diary. Yeah, my parents have read my diary before, which I felt it was a huge invasion of my privacy. But it's not a repeated event. So yes and no. Sometimes they understand privacy, so that they give you space. But most times, I think sometimes they tend to be a little bit meddling. But it's all in good faith. So thank you.
Hi, I'm Emmanuel at Afful, and I'm 16 years old. I think privacy is when your space is respected, such as your thoughts or interactions, and whoever you choose to share that with is your choice. I don't think I necessarily demand privacy, but I do think that it's a natural instinct to want to have privacy and to protect it. Because the things you keep private are usually things that you wouldn't want just anyone to know. Pretty much because it's information that makes you vulnerable, whether it's social situations or personal details. I do have passwords on my gadgets, which is mostly a security thing. However, it's also because you don't really want people to be able to go through your phone and see what you have on it. And it's not because I have anything suspicious on it or anything, but simply because it's your personal belonging. And it does give an insight into who you are and what you like, and that opens you up to judgment if it doesn't align with other people's values or opinions. I do not let my parents in on everything in my life, and that's because I don't think they'd understand everything. And it could be a very difficult thing to say, especially because my parents like to remind me that they were teenagers once, but the times are different. I think the main reason why I don't is because it all comes down to judgment. My parents won't always understand why I did what I did. If I told them about something my friends did, they'll view it much differently than I would. And the generational difference does mean that the clashing of opinions doesn't make the experience as enjoyable as you imagined it to be, because you probably won't get your desired response. Do you think your parents understand your need for privacy? A bit, but not fully. For example, my mum used to take my phone and check it sometimes, and that also meant that she needed to know my password, but she hasn't done that in a while. And my parents open my door without knocking all the time, but it does feel like an invasion of my privacy. But I do get it. As your parents, I do have a right to know what you are doing, but sometimes the need to know everything can come across as distrust, and it only makes me want my privacy more. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Kwabena Idudako Asari, and I'm 16 years old. I think privacy to me especially means a lot because I am quite introverted, and so I tend to spend a lot of time by myself. And so if anyone tries to infiltrate my space, I can get quite offended. And so yes, privacy is very important to me. I usually do not demand privacy because I cannot really get it. I have two siblings who are quite nosy, and so it is really hard to get privacy from them and also from my parents because they always want to know what I am up to. Yes, I have passwords on my gadgets, mainly to prevent my siblings from using them without permission and also to prevent theft. Yeah. Yes, I try to let my parents in on all the major details or what I would consider important in my life. There's always the little minute details that I might leave out, but I try to involve them as much as possible and leave out the quite controversial details because, yeah, they're controversial. I do not think my parents understand my need or I think the need for privacy as young adults. They think, especially, that they should control every aspect of my life. And so I don't think they understand it really well because sometimes they just barge into your room or take your phone because they feel like they should have control. So I feel like they do not really understand my need for privacy that much.
I have a problem. I have a very big problem.
Let's deal with it.
We will take a break. When we come back, we will deal with my problem because, in fact, that is the biggest of all the problems I have this morning right now. Listening to all these young ones, why do they think we don't understand them? We don't understand them, saying. But we will be back. Thank you very much for staying through with us. Or if you're just joining us, this is Home Affairs. We're live on Joy 99.7 FM, also on Joy Prime. We have been looking at teenagers and the subject of privacy. And if you just joined us, again, you missed a bit because we listened to about 4 or 5 teenagers telling us their need. I see a message on the console. Their need for privacy. And I mean, it's it's so revealing. I have to summon these young ones to the studio and continue this conversation because we gave birth to you. In fact, you didn't ask to be born. Seriously. You didn't ask to be born. We told God that we needed children and God blessed us with you. Then all of a sudden, 15 years later, you call us old school and we don't understand you. Your world is different. Of course, some of the things I'm saying are on point. Knock before you enter. I have a daughter who just turned 16. Long before then, she goes to school, she comes back, she enters her room and she says, "Mommy, please, who entered my room?" And I am like, "Ah, God, stay where you are." Who entered your room? Say, she knows how she has arranged her things in the room, and she says that when you enter her room without her knowledge, she feels her space has been invaded, violated.
I have that same feeling.
Because no, this is my space and I need to know you're coming here. You don't just get up and enter my room, especially so in my absence. Then she feels like, okay, what are you up to? I just shove her to the side and walk past her because if we have to get into this conversation, I don't know where it will end. But listening to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the same concerns cut across.
Yeah.
One of the gentlemen said that sometimes the boundaries are crossed and he tries to
Reinforce.
Yes.
Yeah.
I wonder how he does it. I would like to ask. But my question, I was saying, my problem is, why do they think we do not understand them? Why is this such a big issue? Because it cuts across all the voices we heard. I can't tell them everything because I feel they will not understand. They belong to a different generation and blah, 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 blah. You know, so why do they think that we do not understand them? It's very important to me.
Edem, from where I sit as a teacher, I think that the concern is about the total control of their lives. Look, there's no adolescent who doesn't know that they need a parent's guidance. They know. But the point is that they say that there are aspects of my life that you don't understand because
Why?
I wasn't born in the age you were born.
Which aspect?
Adam, look, if you want us to go on with this, I think that you need to bring them in.
Okay, let me some.
come in.
Which
Adam.
aspect?
Adam.
See,
I won't understand that you are beginning to
Adam.
grow and you will start having feelings, or
Adam.
which one won't I understand because I was born like some 40 years ago.
So no, I don't think they really mean you were so, you know. The thing is that you cannot choose their friends for them. That's why. Because you don't know what they share in common with their friends. Look, these things come up clearly when you decide to get them to do group work, right? If you don't put your foot down and insist that certain things happen, they will choose whom they want to work with. For me, I want to understand why, and then I'll come in. I think that is what they want to. They want to know why you want to do this.
They will tell you won't understand.
No, but tell them that it's because we are not forthcoming with information. Tell them we've worked there and we know how they work. I'm telling you that if you want them to tell you everything, they will tell you everything. They will tell you everything. They are saying that the total control is ineffective to their growth. And I'm saying that, look, if a child is 16, your daughter, for example, in 2 years will be in the university. My point is that you are not there. How do you expect her to cope being independent when every minute you are... that's the
You're
point.
policing them.
That's the point. So he's saying that, look, let us make the mistakes. Correct us. Granted, some mistakes may be deadly.
Very.
But they're saying that if you think I'll make that deadly mistake, then you have a problem training me.
Yep.
That's the point. And this they will tell you to your face.
Yeah.
That if you think you have actually mentored well as a parent, then you shouldn't have a problem at all.
Yeah, letting me go.
And I've said on this platform that if a child is 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and the child doesn't see dad or mom as their role model, there's a problem with your parenting. It's a fundamental point. So I'm saying that they are ready to talk, Edem. And I'm saying that any parent who really wants to get into the minds of their children, talk to them. Or talk with them better. I'm sure the preposition must be placed well. Talk with them, not talk to them. Because they become tired of hearing what you should do. And one parent said, as for me, in my house, you do as I say, but don't do as I do. Hello? It doesn't work that way. How? How do you even begin to justify why your child should just listen to you but not look at you?
Yeah.
That is the bane of our problem.
Because you are an adult.
And don't forget that the family is a microcosm of the society.
Oh, yes.
And these are the same children who will grow up and take positions, and we scream at them when we make decisions which are unhealthy to us. Edem, I think that you need the children in the studio.
Yes.
You need them in the studio.
And you know why I am very passionate? I personally feel this is my calling. I love the company of young people. Their world is so unique. And I personally believe that if we're able to pay attention to these young ones, look, we have a lot of issues on our hands already in our societies. If we're able to pay attention to these young ones, nurture them, groom them, and guide them, our future will be better because they hold the future. And that's why I will never stop having conversations about young people. This is what it is. A lot of the times we parents, we are running. You're working 2 jobs, you're working 3 jobs, you're doing this. You're asking yourself, you as a parent or you as an adult, and here do you need? They are even telling you you can't eat this, you don't have to eat this, you don't have to eat that. So there's not much that you need. All the hustling and the running around and everything is for them. And so if you're not paying attention to them, grooming them, helping them, nurturing them, and growing them to that level, then waiting you gain. So it's important that we're having these conversations. I have a message here that says, Edem, this matter, it starts even before teenage years. And we parents must wake up and smell the coffee. My 9-year-old has started demanding, and she puts demanding in caps and, privacy, telling me when she will tell me what and how. Oh, wow. It sounds funny, but I have no choice than to understand that she's developing the woman in her. She even cooks dinner for the family. Yes, at age 9. So it's beginning earlier, and we must begin to accept this phenomena. This is from William in Gomwa. Oh, William, your 9-year-old daughter should be part of the Big Chef events we have coming up on Joy Prime. I think you should just try to register her. We'll pick up your number and call you. Who knows, she just could be a winner at that. So if you know why, I mean, if you're a parent out there and you know why they think we do not understand them, or you have a teenager, you have an adolescent at home, and he or she has mastered the courage to tell you to your face that you don't understand. Now I think it's about time you start going into yourself to ask, why do they think I don't understand? And the fear is that for as long as they think you don't understand, they keep it away from you.
Yeah. Yeah.
If I tell you, you won't understand, so they keep it away from you, you know. And so you have to start asking, why do they think I don't understand? Why do they think I don't understand? And start working on it.
That.
Yeah. It's important. Good morning, Edem. Thank God for your lives. Great topic. How do parents handle their children's privacy when they do everything for them? And what if they are at a state of gainfully employed but still under the parents? Okay, that's not our focus this morning. We're looking at the teenagers. So I'll come back to us quickly. But Adanse Travels is back again with another banger. Guess what? It's the 9th Wonder Tours exclusively to explore Africa with popular personalities like Woodmeyer, the biggest African travel YouTuber, and Winston Amwa, host of Joy FM's Super Morning Show. This starts on the 11th of August, and you can choose to explore Kigali and Johannesburg for only 12,990 per person, or Addis Ababa and Zanzibar for 17,990 per person, or better still, combine Addis Ababa with Cape Town for only 15,990. If you're adventurous, then join our road trip from Ghana to Togo, Benin, and Nigeria for only 7,990. And register now till 9th July. Enjoy. That's what, today?
Yeah.
Okay, so you have just today, by the end of today, to register, and then you get a 1,000 cedis discount. You can book at adansetravels.com, or you call 059 5500817, 059 5500817, or 055 6310404. You deserve this vacation. Don't miss out. Adanse Travels, feel life's beauty. And for your eye care challenges, look no further. Amasha Partners Limited and Eye Care has it all. Your eyes deserve the best care and quality designer eyeglasses. Amasha Partners and Eye Care undertake the following services: supply of designer frames, sight testing, supply of lenses, sunglasses, contact lenses, ophthalmologist in attendance, and general treatment. Locate us at La Opposite Trade Fair, Spinters adjacent ICGC, before the Community 18 Junction, McCarthy Hill, they are opposite Benjay Lodge. Not Kanisha, you'll find them at Swan Lake opposite Greenhand Junction. Achimota, they are inside the Denswa Plaza, Takrade, Axim Road, sorry, opposite the CBG Bank. Ho, they are opposite Housing Junction. Kumasi Airport Roundabout, Kolibu, you'll find them opposite ECG and Kufuridra Central Hospital Road. And when you go to Tema, they are in Community 1 inside the Meridian Plaza. Numbers to call 0302-939850 and 0302-778827. You can also find them on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And having your baby try out different tastes and flavors isn't just about giving them a change of taste. This helps to develop their palates and prepares them better for accepting varieties of adult food as they grow. So go ahead and try any of our 6 Cerelac variants. We're talking about wheat, maize, rice, biscuity, fruit pieces, and my favorite, millet. Remember, each bowl of Cerelac contains goodness that helps your children grow, your children's normal growth and development. Cerelac, it's all good, ma'am. This advert is FDA approved. And did you know that playing any musical instrument or singing activates the brain in ways no other human activity can? It's the total brain workout. For the growing mind, music learning is an invaluable input to the brain's development. It is enjoyable, it instills discipline, and develops the mind. At Music Haven, we teach all the musical instruments, talk about the piano, the organ, the violin, the guitar, the saxophone, trumpet. We teach both adults and children. So parents, why don't you enroll your children at Music Haven for a great musical experience? We're open between Monday and Friday, 8 a.m. through 5 p.m. and on Saturdays, 10 a.m. through 3 p.m. You can find Music Haven on Mensa Saba Road near the Malamata Market next to Teledata. We look forward to having your children in Music Haven. Make your children heroes among their peers. Music Haven, your musical coach. I was just talking about Big Chef, and I have Michelle walk into the studio. Hello, beautiful.
Hello, Edem.
How are you?
I'm fine.
Michelle, when you were a teenager, were you asking your parents for privacy? Did you need it?
Well, I don't know. I never did.
You never asked?
No, I never did.
But you needed privacy?
They gave me the privacy without me asking.
At what age?
So
did you start feeling like you could be by yourself and do things by yourself?
Well, that was at age 14.
Okay.
Yes.
And did you at any point feel like your parents didn't understand you, so you couldn't tell them everything?
Oh, luckily for me, my parents are very understanding and they're open.
Okay.
I have that cordial relationship with them like since, so I could tell them anything. We could talk about anything, so I didn't feel restricted with
and
them.
You never felt like they didn't understand you?
No. I've never felt like that.
So that's what we are talking about. Great. She's not too far away from a teenager. I know she doesn't like me saying that, but of course, comparing her to we that they say we have become old men and old women. Michelle, Big Chef, what's up?
Yeah, we're still on and we're still accepting entries. So far, so good. We've had a number of entries and it's quite encouraging.
Great.
Yes. So we're still encouraging people to send us their videos. They can post on Facebook, on Instagram, and tag Joy Prime TV. And then we'll get that. But also, there's an online form they'll have to fill. So when they go onto myjoyonline.com, right, on the right side of it, they'll see the Big Chef artwork. So when they double click on it, it leads them to the form that they would have to fill. After filling the form, there are terms and conditions they'll have to read and agree to it. When they agree and then they double click, then we have the information. So if anything, when it's time for auditioning, that's an in-person audition, we get to call them using the details that they have given us. And then they also send their videos to us as well.
On the back of that, if there are some people who are not all this online stuff, is there a number to call?
Oh, exactly. So they can call our number, that's 055 157 5757.
Say it again.
055 157 5757.
Okay, so you can call that number and make all the inquiries about Big Chef. But let's now go to the beginning because we started the conversation from the middle. Big Chef, what is it all about?
Yeah, so Big Chef is a cookery show, is a competition for kids between the ages 10 and 14. We want to encourage healthy competition amongst children, not the usual competition they have in school, like my shoes, my bag. Those ones are quite not too necessary. But then we want to encourage healthy competition between them and also help them develop their cooking skills. Some kids know how to cook, yes, but when you come on the show, you begin to learn a lot. It's not just about cooking, but then the serving, the presentation, and all of that, and even the ingredients, what those things are using could give to the body.
Great.
So there's a lot to learn on the show. So it's not just cooking, but then you also get to learn. So it's a fun way of learning.
And have a lot of fun as
exactly.
well. And so the entry, what videos are they supposed to send?
So they're just supposed to record themselves cooking their favorite meal. So you can have your mom, your dad, or elder sibling do that for you.
do the recording for you.
Yes.
So while you're cooking, you're having all the fun. We do those things. Like people do those things and post online just for the fun of it.
Yes.
But now do it, post it for a competition, and then before you realize you're a big star, and you are
going on Food Network
everywhere. You understand? So
Yes.
we're asking you, if you're listening right now on Joy Prime Television on Joy FM, we're asking you, if you have a child at home who loves to cook, don't let it just be a home. I mean, don't let it feel like a chore. They can actually have fun doing it. And so encourage them, let them do the cooking. While they're doing it, you make time to record them, have conversations with them very nicely, and then you upload it, send it to the number again, Michelle.
055 157 5757.
Great. So you send it to that number, and then we will call you right back and walk you through the next steps. Am I right?
Yes.
Thank you, Michelle, for coming.
Thank you, Edem. But before I leave, I would want to acknowledge our sponsors on this one.
All right.
Yes, so we have Frital Sunflower Oil, we have Top Choco, Indomie, Fortune Rice, and Flora Tissues. Thank you guys
Great.
so much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that was Michelle. I hope that, somebody says, bring yourself to this level. Oh, I wanted to see the message. I wonder what we had done that we're supposed to bring ourselves to that level.
No, bring yourself to their level.
Oh, yeah, sure. Of course. A lot of parents miss that. We have just a few minutes to go. And I like us to, so, Ariel, from your experiences, you've said a lot though, but I want you to sum it up for us, because there are still parents who are struggling with this thing. There are parents who, because they weren't, I mean, we're not judging anybody, but maybe because they weren't even parented. Do you understand? You never saw it. It really never happened with you. So you don't even know how to do it. And they have not deliberately created friction between themselves and their children, but they're just unable to build the relationship just because of who they are.
Yeah.
You're my child. I wake up, I pay your fees, you go to school, you come, I make sure there's food at home, and that's it. Life, I'm responsible.
Yeah, that's all it is for them. Yeah, but it goes beyond that.
Exactly.
It goes
So how do you
way
do that?
Beyond that.
What advice would you give to them
I
quickly?
had an experience growing up as a teenager. I suffered depression when I was very young, and I didn't even know what it was until later. And it was due to the parenting style I was experiencing. I love freedom. I'm such a go out there, get it sort of person, and all I wanted was just space to be myself. And what they are asking is that they have an integral self. Your child is not necessarily you. They don't have the interests, the likes, the thought pattern, they don't. And so when they start showing the need for that privacy, that's what is coming up, because they have an integral self that they are developing. And friendship is key. And so as a parent, to be able to get to that place of cutting that relationship with your children, do things together with them. Don't just pay their fees and go out on your outdooring, on your funerals and your social things alone. Those social outings, you have to make time to create that connection with your children so that you can help them develop their interests. And that is what I did. Before my kids would turn 5, I've been going out with them to the poolside, to the hotels, to have breakfast, to have lunch. This helps them build their confidence. And so we had that friendship, and they developed from that. You don't have to just be a parent by taking care of their basic needs. You have to be there, and that is where we miss. And then when it gets to the time we have to let them go, we feel they are not grown enough. They don't have the confidence, or they don't have the mind to make decisions.
Great.
So the beginning part between the ages from 6 to 12 is crucial. It's crucial, and that relationship you create with them is where you as a parent will start standing on and say, I know what I've invested in them, and so if they turn 13, I can let them go. I can start putting the space and giving them that. So create a friendship with them now.
Great.
And don't just pay the bills, buy the shoes, buy the gadgets for them, but you don't have the time for them.
Great. I remember, one of the conversations we had with them, they said, don't make decisions for us. Make the decisions with us. Yes, PK.
Edem, I think that the truth should be told that the vicissitudes of the times and the exigencies of the times do not allow parents to create that atmosphere where there will be conversations between their children. I mean, mom is going to work, dad is going to work. You know, that's quite true. But I also know a couple who decided that one of them
Will have to
be at home. So, thinking through, he or she chose a job that to get him or her always at home. Because you cannot always share that responsibility to teachers.
No.
In my language, we say, opening diamante. Sometimes you pretend you don't understand them. Give them the platform and they will tell you everything. That's the only thing I have with my students. In school, coach and uncle, they fear me. And I'm sure it's just about respect. And my line is, I will not disrespect you. So I don't see why. So that's my success strategy. I open up, I talk to them, I don't judge them. Sometimes they come to you, tell you things, and you're like, oh, tell mom. She will not understand that.
Oh dear.
But why? Is it not because of the approach? Well, mom never talks to me. And so now it becomes my responsibility to find a way of getting. And thankfully, a lot of parents get this angle. So I think that the underlying word is friendship.
Friendship.
That's all.
Friendship. Yeah. I know somebody will be asking, how, but we've treated this before, but we can't talk about it enough. How do I become friends with my children and still be able to discipline them? You know, how do I become friends with my children and still be able to discipline them? Because, truth be told, the fact that they are asking for privacy and asking to be by themselves, allow us to learn on our own, doesn't mean that they know it all and will get it all right. Sometimes you have to be a bit hard, sometimes you have to be firm, sometimes you have to be soft, and sometimes you're wondering, how do I do it so I don't lose them? You know, we parents go through a lot as well, trying to figure all of these things out, and we will be having more of these conversations. But one of these days, expect the teenagers and I in the studio again. But next week, I have a very, 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 very big and important announcement for you regarding this topic. There's something big we're coming up with, and next week I will tell you about it, so don't miss it. Make time for them. It's a weekend. After this conversation, you just want to see if you can make a little bit of time, even by the television. Watch a movie at home and have a conversation around it. You can always start from somewhere. You can always, maybe if you haven't done it before, you go like, oh, today I want us to watch a movie and then have a conversation. Everybody will be like, what just happened here? But it will be the starting point of trying to build that bond, because like it or leave it, someday they will leave your sight and you will have to be able to breathe when you're not there. My name is Edem Knight-Tay. Thank you, Ariel, and thank you, PK, for coming. And to the production team, you're always awesome. Thank you. Enjoy your weekend and see you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Y'all.